this week's original artist of the week. Please welcome Delia Stanley. Delia, welcome to Good Talk.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
You are very welcome. We are so happy that our viewers get a chance to meet you. We got turned on to you by our very first original artist of the week, Rory Kelly. Now, our viewers love Rory. They've been following Rory's progress and journey and music and everything. And so when we got a message from Rory saying, hey, you want to check out this lady? We thought, yeah, we want to check out this lady. We learned well after the fact that you guys are actually cousins.
That's right. Rory and I's journeys are sort of linked together like that because we grew up together, like spending summers in her room, banging out Beatles songs on guitars. And our grandmother was also a musician and an opera singer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So sometimes people say, oh, that's where you guys get those big vocals from.
Yeah.
Grandma.
Well, it's what I love about the both of you. And to be clear to our viewers, I am not comparing the two. They are two completely different musicians and entities and forces and lady beasts. Gotta include lady beasts. What I love about the both of you is you're so unassuming and just natural and easy and so cool. And you come out with these voices that we would not ever expect to come out of a human person. It's, you just like, you're almost in this relaxed zone of, all right, so I'm going to listen to something cool. What just happened? And that's how I felt when I started listening to your music. That's how Donnie felt when he was checking out your brand new single, Onward. It's just incredible what you've been putting together. Tell us a little bit about what inspires you to make the music that you make.
Well, thank you for the kind words about Onward. My guitar player at the beginning of this year, so before even things really got wild, was like, we need to record the song this year. Like, this was the year for the song. And it had been written maybe a year beforehand, and it just kind of has gotten more relevant. I mean, this particular song was just inspired by needing something that acknowledged pain, but also had a message of hope. My last EP was called Broke Down. It was largely a blues album, and it sort of was, it was a sad blues album. So when I went back into the studio, and with everything happening in the last couple of years, and now this year just happens to be like a reflection of everything that I was talking about, which I don't know if that's lucky or not. Like, I got lucky that the apocalypse is here, and now this song is more relevant than ever. And really, in terms of the songwriting, like progressions and things, I've just been really simplifying my process and not making it too complicated. And it's a nice, easy tune. I started jamming it with my band, and I was like, we do need to record this. You guys are right. We actually were supposed to record it much earlier. We got, delayed from COVID for months and months and months. So when finally the producer said we're reopening, I was like, this is our only chance.
Yeah, I heard talk from Rory a couple of months ago that it was going to be coming out, and I knew that we were on hold because of COVID, and I was anxious to see what you were going to do with it, because you have really dabbled into a lot of different styles in your career, and I love that you did have the blues album. It was very deep and very personal and very moody, and it was relatable on all of those levels. There was a lot of just raw humanity in that album. And that's something that we really appreciate on this show. And with Onward, it has a feeling of like an anthem to me.
Right.
It feels so empowering, and it's, again, very raw, very honest. But it does, the hope that you added in there really does shine through, as, we're going to come together and we're going to overcome. And it's something that I had my windows down and the music up and just driving down the big road and just feeling like everything's going to be okay. And
Right.
to be able to convey that through music is really a gift that we love. And your voice is just outrageous. It's just outrageous.
And thank you for saying, my friend said something very similar when she first listened to Onward. She was making me stickers, actually, for the release. And she said something similar where, it's been a really hard, obviously, year. And I listened to this song and I finally thought, oh, well, maybe we can change things. Like maybe things will be okay and it's so chaotic, but maybe we can figure out a way through this. And I think, not that I'm suggesting Onward's a punk song in any way, but I grew up listening to a lot of punk music. And so, yeah. And so there's that DIY feel in punk music, rejecting the status quo. I don't have to do things the way that you've been doing them just because you say so. And so the punk attitude is there, that it's a little more poppy in the genre area, but the punk mentality that I grew up with is there. And then that's why I DIY'd the artwork for it. My friend printed the stickers. We went to a local studio, so it's a very local project of love for me. And it does embody those kind of punky principles that
it's very
inspired
in your
me.
face in like a smooth kind of way, which is neat, you know, and it makes you want more. And that's something that we love. Fast forward 40 years. Okay. Somebody comes across your catalog of music that they hadn't heard before. What do you want your music to tell them about you?
That's a great question. I think what I want to get across is kind of what we've talked about with Onward, and even an interview I had done with Brokedown, I kind of touched on this a little bit. I think it's important that we as musicians and artists aren't sort of bypassing people's pain and expression, and I think most of the time we don't. We only write when we are sad, right? We don't run to our guitars super happy all the time. But on that note, balancing that with those messages of hope and positivity. So not, toxic positivity where like, think better and you'll be okay. But this acknowledgement of the things we go through paired with, we can do better and we can keep going and we can carry onward.
Delia, it's so great that our viewers got a chance to meet you. We ask everybody, please check out her social media links below. Please download her brand new single, Onward, and support what this lady's about. Thank you so much for sitting down with us, and thank you for the good talk.
My pleasure.
Get far in this life on my own, I guess. You were kinda right, I got people by my side where I'm going. I stand hand in hand with my chosen family. You'll never take that from me. 'Cause we will carry onward. We don't care what you say. We will create our own world. We'll do it our way, our way, our way. Yeah, our way, our way. Well, these twists and turns, the things I learned from them. Sometimes it gets hard to stay strong. That's when I reach inside to the heart of the fight. Blood and tears and sweat. I don't regret a single step. 'Cause we will carry onward. We don't care what you say. We will create our own world. We'll do it our way, our way, our way. And we will carry onward. We don't care what you say. carry on till we see the new dawn. The old road is gone, gotta build a better one. We will carry on till we see the new dawn. The old road is gone, gotta build a better one. We will carry on till we see the new dawn. The old road is gone, gotta build a better one. We will carry on till we see the new dawn. The old road is gone, gotta build a better one. We will carry on till we see the new dawn. The old road is gone, gotta build a better one. We will carry on till we see the new dawn. The old road is gone, gotta build a better one. We will carry on till we see the new dawn. The old road is gone, gotta build a better one. We will carry on till we see the new dawn. The old road is gone. 'Cause we will carry onward. We don't care what people say. We will create our own world. We'll do it our way, our way, our way. And we will carry onward. We don't care what you say. We will create our own world. We'll do it our way, our way, our way. Hey, our way, our
Hey, it's Ivan Bodley. Some people call me the Funk Boy, and I love having a good talk with Robin Eve and Donnie Vapor. Right on.
Hey everybody, this is Motorcycle Mike, the personal injury lawyer. I've been riding motorcycles my entire adult life. During the course of my 30-year career as a lawyer, I've also represented countless injured motorcyclists. If you're one of them, I can be of assistance to you. Go to my website, please, motorcyclemikeesq.com. I'll always be there for you. I'm on your side when you ride.
Hi, I'm Robin Eve.
And I'm Donnie Vapor, and together we bring you Good Talk on the Strong Island TV network.
We love being able to bring quality content to you every single Sunday, and we look forward to doing that for a long time to come. We are currently looking for sponsors and advertisers for our show. If you have a product or service that you're looking to promote, do you have new music that's available? What would you like to have a good talk with our viewers about? Email us, goodtalktvshow@gmail.com. We have all different types of packages available to help you get the word out about whatever it is that you're promoting. Join the Good Talk TV and Strong Island Television family and email us today.
Looking forward to working with you. Hey gang, today I have a very special guest. He's been an influential fixture on the Long Island music scene for many years. He's been a part of numerous bands, mostly notably the very popular Jim Small Band. He's a freelance audio engineer, was a middle school music teacher, and the creator and founder of the world's longest running and almost cult-like following, the 70 plus member band called the Paper Bag. I'm proud to call him a friend, and I'm glad that he's here to have a good talk with us today. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I introduce you to Mr. Mike Guido. How are you, Mike?
Hey, Don, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Love you. Thank you. Anytime. My wardrobe lady was just in.
You got the wardrobe and everything set? You got your beer assistant?
Yeah, hair, makeup, everything's done.
You look beautiful. We have a cheap budget. We sent them the best we could afford.
Exactly. I appreciate it.
He's looking good. So, I guess let the audience know. Our audience is curious. How did your awesome musical aspirations all begin? Take us back to a young Mike Guido growing up.
Oh, well, when I was in third grade, they called it a tonette then. It was it was a recorder. I have one right behind me someplace. Oh, here it is. Now it looks like a tin whistle. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
So in third grade, they gave us one of these. And the summer after third grade, I started to take, they gave me a tenor saxophone, but I was such a little shrimpy kid, I couldn't carry it.
Wow.
So then I got a clarinet. 2 years later, they gave me an oboe. I played the oboe for 20 something years. And I just, some people have innate skills. There are people who are natural athletes. Everybody
Right.
recognizes that. And, so, natural artists, when they draw a nose, it looks like a nose.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the rest of us just can't do that. And some people are musicians, and just pretty much anything you give me, I could just play. So I've been
Interesting.
fortunate enough my whole life to play music and make money.
Does that run in your family? Is that hereditary? Did it come down passed along?
So my dad, when we were kids, the TV broke one time, and I played the clarinet. My brother Bobby played the trumpet. And in the 2 weeks before he could get somebody to fix the TV, he taught himself to play both.
Oh, wow.
And when he was older, he bought an organ, like one of those Lowry home organs.
Sure.
And he taught himself to play Fool on the Hill, and he figured out his own system of writing out the notes. But no, my brothers may have it, but my sister, but it's pretty much just me.
Well, what would you say? What kind of music do you tend to gravitate towards? You're saying you play the oboe, you play the clarinet. I mean, what else?
Yeah,
you're
look at this face. You can tell exactly what kind of music I like just by looking. I was in seventh grade, 12 years old when the Beatles were on Ed Sullivan. So when I was a middle school teacher, I used to tell my classes they're 12 years old generally, and I would tell them that the music when you're 12, your favorite music now is probably going to be your favorite music forever, and you're going to believe that your music is the best music ever. It just so happens that me and my friends were right.
That's very interesting. It's interesting that you brought up the Ed Sullivan Show too, because my partner on the show, it's Good Talk with Robin Eve, and I'm Donnie Vapor, obviously. Her dad was the announcer of the Ed
Really?
Sullivan Show.
I listened to his voice many times.
Which is pretty cool. It's just like a very small world,
Yes, it is.
So here we go. Dare I ask this question? I want to know, you've been at this a long time, right? You've played, I guess, weddings and clubs, and you've taught music, and you've been a music teacher. How would you, I don't know, do you have any advice or any lessons along the way in your career for the youngsters that are thinking about making music their career?
Have as much fun as you possibly can. I was just lucky, I think. See, I have a philosophy that it's inverse paranoia. Because when you're paranoid, you think the universe is conspiring against you. But inverse paranoia, I believe the universe is conspiring for my benefit. So, being a musician and then getting work as a sound guy, which is similar, and it just kept me from having to get a job. And all my life, just good things happen that keep me working. And I was a teacher. I was a middle school band teacher.
Wow.
And I did that just long enough to get a pension and out. And I went, right back to the pit that I had climbed out of, right back to the clubs. And I've been able to make a living playing music my whole life. It's just, it wasn't anything I planned like that. It just happened.
Okay.
But the more things you know how to do, the easier it is to make a living. Like you pointed out, I played the oboe. I got good enough at the oboe to be like the substitute player for the Nassau Pops Orchestra.
Oh, wow.
When their oboe player was pregnant at Christmas time, I would get the gig. And I played the oboe for about 20 years. I was really good for 5 minutes, or maybe 8 minutes. It's Schubert's Eighth Symphony, the unfinished. And it's got this beautiful oboe part in B minor. And one day I had a perfect reed, and everything was it was the greatest 8 minutes of my life. And then it was all downhill again from there. Oboe is a very humbling instrument.
I would treasure those moments. That's a great accomplishment, actually.
Well, that's just a side thing, I'm just lucky that what I like to do, somehow people who wanted to pay me to do it always found me.
I don't believe you're lucky. I mean, in my opinion, this is just my philosophy. It's positive thinking. I'm a firm believer in what you put out is what you get. And you said early on, you don't look at things that the universe is conspiring against you. It's conspiring for you. And I love that philosophy.
Well, it's, but you might as well have fun. You're going to be here anyway. You might as well have fun. I've had challenges, and I have things that everything isn't hunky dory all the time, but generally, like I have those shirts, those I forget the little shirts with the characters on them, and it says on the bottom of it, "Love what you do what you love." So it's on my shirt. So I gotta. It's like a rule.
Wow. And you're also into, I believe, audio engineering.
Well, yeah, I've gotten a lot of work. In the early '70s, I was in a band. The band broke up, so I bought the PA, and I just started to rent myself out as a sound guy. I didn't know anything, and but that's 45 years ago.
Wow.
So now I'm really good at it, and I make really good money compared to the money I used to make playing. Even though I was able to make a living doing that, but this is a lot better. And it's not as I would much rather play,
Right.
but if I'm not going to be on the stage playing, then I'd like to be. I don't like being in the audience. It's not comfortable for me.
Interesting. And you say you would be self-taught, or did you take classes on audio engineering?
No, on audio engineering, no, I never took classes. I read a lot,
Okay.
and like now you can watch YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Is the new manuals. But and I look things up when I don't know things, and I would read the manuals from IDEA to know how it worked, which I still do. But no, it's just time in the saddle. It's just experience. You've been there, so you're good at.
I like
And
that.
it because it can be a very overwhelming thing. It's sound reinforcement. Being a live sound guy in clubs, you're not always working with ideal conditions.
I can imagine. Sure. And you work in a lot of clubs. Have you done also private?
Well, I've been working in the Nutty Irishman, Farmingdale. Used to be Farmingdale and Bayshore for almost 10 years now. Done over 1,000 gigs at the Nutty. So that's just a lucky thing. One May, my wife was saying, I'm teaching. I said, "What are you going to do this summer? I'll go get a job. You're going to sit around here all summer. Call up Mulcahy's, call up the Nutty Irishman, see if they need a substitute." So I did, and all of a sudden, I have 5 nights a week work. It's just
Wow.
reverse paranoia. And now I've been there almost 10 years.
That's amazing.
So,
People want to know the Irishman's Long Island, New York. We have an audience worldwide. I just want to let them know. In fact, we have a big following in Ireland. So this is not a slur on you nutty Irish people who are watching the show, but it's a really cool place that I've been to many times.
Well, for you people in Ireland, I toured for 3 years with Tony Kenny, who is a tenor. He was at Jury's, the Cabaret in Dublin for many years, and he was a Broadway, whatever Ireland Broadway, but even a Broadway star.
Sure.
Joseph and the Technicolor, other things, Jesus Christ Superstar, I believe back in. So I toured with Irish with the button, of course, not a keyboard accordion, it's a button accordion, and the fiddle, and so I have a huge warm spot in my heart for the Irish people.
I love you. I love it. You've got a very, very diverse background. And guys, I'm happy to say again, we have Mike Guido here today, and we're just jumping in right here. We're going to be going to our sponsors in a second, to a commercial, and then we're going to come back, and we are going to take a nice deep dive into the 800-pound gorilla that I made reference to in your introduction, the paper bag. So stick around, because we're going to pick his brain about something that's... I'm going to let him tell you all about it. I'm going to say no more. No influence here. They can't say I'm leading the witness. And we'll be right back. Stick around.
Hey, this is Jesse Blaze Snyder, and I love having a good talk with Robin Eve and Donnie Vapor on Good Talk TV.
Thank you, Pulmonary Wellness Foundation, Good Talk TV sponsor. Please visit pulmonarywellness.com to learn more about this incredible organization.
Writing a book is the adventure of a lifetime. Red Penguin Books take pride in giving our authors a publishing experience that is stress-free and celebratory all the way. Some of our authors first approach us with no more than an idea for a book that's ready to sprout. Others submit completed manuscripts. Whether you're at either end or anywhere in between, our goal is to get you published. At Red Penguin Books, we offer options and opportunities that are unique in the world of publishing, and all of them are designed to keep you, the author we so deeply respect, in the driver's seat, unlike other publishing houses. So, if you want to write a book and are looking for a publisher, we've got you covered. Red Penguin Books deal in publishing services, book development, and ghostwriting for digital, print, and audiobook. Call us at 516-448-4993 or visit our website, www.redpenguinbooks.com.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. Our guest today is Mr. Mike Guido, having a good talk with us. And before we went to our sponsor, I kind of teased the paper bag with you guys. And I'm not going to say a lot because I'm going to leave it up to the man himself, the founder, the genius behind this. Share with the audience what the paper bag is, how it all began, and what it currently represents today, if you would.
Okay, what it is, how it began, and what it represents today. Well,
Please.
what it is a 70-piece rock band that our next performance will be our 43rd annual performance. We've been doing this since the 70s. The musicians average 25 to 30 years in the band.
Wow.
So, and we don't advertise, and we've been in Mulcahy's for almost 20 years now, and we draw approximately 40. Mulcahy's is in Wantaw on Long Island, New York. We draw 1,400 people. Without our advertising budget is zero.
Wow.
We don't advertise because we don't need to, because we draw 14. The same people come every year, the audience. So the band shows up every year, the same audience shows up every year. And we have a theme. For years we've come up with a theme. There's an executive board, about 15 or 20 people. The room I'm in here is the war room in my house, and it's kind of like a museum, kind of. And we meet down. It can be a rehearsal room. There's a drum set in a corner. There's keyboards behind me, or it can be configured for meetings. I have my captain's chair, and the executive board have averaged well over 30 years in the band. So we known each other a long time, and we begin meeting in January, and we have monthly meetings and the paper bag is the last Tuesday in June. Okay. So we come up with a theme, and we assemble songs that would match that theme, like the bag from space, or the money bag, or the grocery bag, or the school bag. It's a way to look to divert different places for material instead of recycling the same songs. And everybody learns their part. The vocalists rehearse at my house. For a month before, we'll have weekly rehearsals, and we perform at a very high level. From some, there's a lot of common, easy rock stuff, but we do some fairly difficult music, and we can perform at a ridiculously high level. We do crash and burn, and we have our issues, but the band can really play. We've done 42 performances. Even though they're a year apart, it's still 42 performances.
And the folks eat this up. I mean, truth and disclosure, I've been a part of the bag for a while, and it's the most amazing experience I've ever been involved in. The crowd just is on the edge of their feet. They can't wait for that once a year. That happens. It's just amazing. So it started back when? What was the year it started?
The paper bag as a big event started in 1979. The song Paper Bag was written in 1973, a little earlier, and but as an event, our first in 1979 we did 2 of them, and we've done it once a year since then. And now that we missed 2020,
COVID.
We are probably the most socially non-distant event ever, because people are packed in there, and we are totally non-essential. So, and we don't want. We had one Zoom meeting in March, I believe, the executive board. We had our January and February meeting. We were all set. 2020 was going to be the vision bag. It was great, Sure. And we had our Zoom meeting, and we decided that we didn't want to risk having a sucky bag. So if you're not going to do it right, you just can't. You can't put it up there and have a quarter of the people, and it just wouldn't work.
I personally think you made the right call. You don't want to ruin perfection, and you guys have had perfection. and it's grown year after year. And I'm going to tell you guys, well, guys all over the country and different countries are watching this, but there's numerous videos out there. How can they find you online?
Oh, paperbagmusic.com is our website.
Okay.
Paperbagmusic.com. And then on the website, down the left side, there's a series of, there's a menu, and one of the choices is Paperbag on YouTube. And that takes you to a YouTube page with we have it videotaped every year by a professional company, EKO Productions, in Deer Park, New York. A little shout out, and then SK Sound in Bohemia.
I think that's great. So people can really see what it's all about.
But that's paperbagmusic.com. There's about 1,000 pages.
Wow.
We have to do with the paper bag up there.
I appreciate that. We're going to be throwing in a little bit to. I'm going to put together a montage of some of the paper bags. But I want to leave you with a last question. First, I want to thank you again for coming on. You're awesome. And it's a pleasure to call you a friend. And this question is interesting. I like to ask it a lot, and let's see how you take it. Let's fast forward to the future. Once we're all long gone. And because of social media and video, folks come across you conducting and putting on this amazing paper bag show. What would you like them to conclude? Who was Mike Guido, and what did he represent?
Well, Mike Guido was, a hippie rock musician who played in orchestras and other things, but who fun is the best thing to have. And what I try to tell everybody is to have as much fun as you possibly can. So everything I've done in my life has been for fun. And like I say, fortunately, I was able to make a living at it. And the paper bag is just there to enjoy ourselves. There's no other purpose to it. We have extremely accomplished musicians and some beginning musicians, shall we say. But everybody works together and everybody supports each other. Praise and good feelings, and the audience is just awesome. They're required to sing and dance along with the band. They sing, they count the band in for songs because it's the same. It's 300 something people in the band and the crew, and 1,400 people in the audience. So same 1,700 people come back year after year and have fun.
What a great answer. So you represent the expression of life. It's about having fun, not taking yourself too seriously. And
fun is the best thing to have. That's right.
I really like that. Mike, thanks so much for coming on, taking the time with us.
Anytime. It's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to see you. I've known you since back in the Dakota Rose days in the 80s.
Oh, man.
And whenever I see you, we have fun. That's
how. We always have fun. Thanks again. And guys, we're going to go shoot. We're going to throw to one of his videos. Thanks for having a good talk, and we'll catch you later.
All right, count it in. Ready? Go. Move it out here. All right, here we go. 1, 2. Verse 1. When I was younger, there was my mother. Well, my mother always told me that I could be really big. She said, you gotta take a stand. You gotta be a man. Well, my mother always told me that you can't be no brown paper bag. And I used to look at her and say, paper bag for the drag. Paper bag for the drag. All right. So we have an awesome show this year because we're doing the best songs from the past 39 bags, plus songs from the body bag, which the body bag, when we started to do it like 25 or 30 years ago, there'd be like 2 or 3 people in the body bag, and now it's like a third of the show. Because the rock stars, they drop it like flies. All right, ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, sing it, go!
I don't wanna work, I just wanna bang on the drum all day. I don't wanna play, I just wanna bang
Here we
on the drum all
go!
day.
First one. When I was just a tiny boy, I don't need no candy, I don't need no toys. I get some sticks and an old coffee pan, bang on that sucker till I had blisters on my hands. We go,
I don't wanna work, I just wanna bang on the drum all day.
yes I do.
I don't wanna play, I just wanna bang on the drum all day.
We have a real treat for you now. This isn't something you see every day. All right, when we started this, nobody thought that there would be like elderly rock stars. We have one right here. Here, have your microphone. He's got his oxygen. He's got his eyeball things. He's
1, 2.
sing along.
Life ain't good enough. I can build my world to lift you up. I can change my life to better suit your mood. And it's just like the ocean under the moon. It's the same as the emotion that I get from you. You got the kind of love that be so smooth. Yeah. Give me your heart, take it real. Ooh, carry me back, carry me back, carry me back. Take me where the rock was down. It's been a long time, been a long time, been a long, lonely, 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 lonely. No, you got it. Oh, yeah, take another little piece of my heart now, baby. Yeah. Have another little bit of my heart, darling. Yeah. Have another little piece of my heart now, baby. I said together we gon' make it. She gon' make it. He gon' make it. We gon' make it. Oh yeah. We gon' make it. Together, yeah. Together, yeah. Oh yeah. Good, we got
What's up, guys? It's JD Leonard, and I like kicking back and having a good talk with Robin Eve and Donnie Vapor.
We were referred to this lady by two of our regular viewers, Tiffany and Aaron Thomas. And when we fell down the rabbit hole and we learned more about what she is about, we got really, really excited to sit down and have a good talk with her. Please welcome Linda Trott Dickman. Linda, welcome to Good Talk.
It's good to be here. It's really good to be here. I love who we have in common.
I do too, very much. That's my dragon family. We are definitely big fans of them. And we're also now big fans of yours. We
Wow.
checked out what you are about. Linda is an author of 3 books. Linda has been a very, very strong influence in getting poetry into the lives of our kids. For 35 years, she has been teaching poetry to our children. She's a retired librarian. She is also the poetry coordinator at the Arts Council in Northport, New York. Linda, tell us a little bit about how you started out with your love of poetry.
I believe I can pinpoint it to a summer camp I attended when I was about 10 years old in the High Sierra Mountains of California.
Okay.
It was a camp. That site still exists, even though the camp is no longer functioning as a camp. It was called Camp Takuya and San Emilio. And it was in the High Sierras. And we were asked to bring a marble notebook, which I thought was an interesting camping provision that you needed to bring. You needed to bring socks and, all the things that you would think, a canteen and a bandana and all this stuff. And then they wanted you to bring a marble notebook. And I thought to myself, what an interesting thing. Why? And then we were taken out on more than one day. And I can remember sitting in a spot under a pine tree and writing a poem. I wish I could remember the poem. And I wish my mother had not maybe recycled my notebook. I don't know. Maybe it's still in the house somewhere. But that's where I started when I was about 10 years old.
Linda, tell us a little bit about the 3 books that you have published.
Well, it started with a contest listing that I saw on Facebook, I think, because I don't think it was an email. I think it was on Facebook. And a local publisher was running a contest called 30 Poems in 30 Days. And I had just come out of going back to school. I guess I was 60 at the time. And I had just gotten my master's at Adelphi. And I only say that because it was such a big accomplishment for me at going back at 58 and graduating at 60. That I wanted to stay fresh. So I entered this contest that April and I won nothing. And I entered it again the following April and I won nothing. And I then entered it again the following April and got honorable mention. And so I took the offer that was given me for honorable mention, and that was the first book, which is called Robes. And then I entered it again. I entered it at least 2 times, and the third book won first prize. So the second book was The Air That I Breathe, also got honorable mention, and the third one, called Road Trip, is the one that won first prize.
Tell us a little bit about what the books are about.
The first book, Robes, is about the things that we are covered in life. So whether it's terry cloth or grace or love or snow or sorrow, those are the things. And so that theme ran throughout the book of what we are covered in. And it was inspired by a gift my husband gave us one Christmas. Under the tree were 2 beautiful Victoria's Secret robes, and his was black and mine was royal purple, and that inspired that whole book. So that was one. The second one, The Air That I Breathe, came from what's in the air. And pine trees were a lot in the air in that book, and I wrote a lot of it inspired by a camp that my husband's family had in Maine on a beautiful little pond. And of course the pine trees were everywhere. Mm-hmm. So that one was about all the things that are in the air, including dust and including sunlight and including the smells that you smell in the morning, if you're driving and you smell coffee or baking bread or whatever it is. And the third one was about an actual road trip we took from here to the West Coast and back. So it's the first road trip, and I'm writing the second road trip book now.
You have been really influential with bringing poetry into the lives of kids. I would like to know from you some suggestions on opening kids' minds to poetry.
One of my favorite devices is to ask them what they know about poetry. And I get everything from roses are red, violets are blue, etc., to I don't know anything about poetry. And at the time, I've used different music over time. I've used Michael Jackson. I've used, I can't think of her name. I think it's Natasha Bedingfield. There's a story, there's a song about feel the rain on your skin, no one else can do it for you. Where your book begins, the rest is still unwritten. So I would start to, staring at the blank page before you, and the kids would start to sing, and I'd say, oh, you're singing poetry. And they say, what? So I got them.
Music.
Yeah, with music, always with music, because music inspires me to write a lot. So I would always include a unit on poetry, and at different times in my career have groups of kids writing poems, and we would self-publish in the library until we got to a place where my former publisher put together some books with my kids' poetry, and we had a reading, and we had the Suffolk County Poets Laureate, a couple of them either write letters or show up and encourage the kids, and it was just stupendous. Just stupendous.
I love that. It's helping them channel their creativity, and like you said, I don't know much about poetry, and then they'll start with rhyming or something with whatever lyrics and song that they have, and realize that they actually already appreciate it.
Indeed. And I was going through something the other day, because retiring after 40 years of working, I came home with fewer boxes than many, but still many boxes. And I'm going through the boxes, and I found a poem by one of my former students who's now in 8th grade. And she said, poetry helps me when I won't name the brothers because they're such unique names. When my brother is scatting all the time, and when the baby is crying, and when my sister is arguing, and when my big brother is doing whatever my big brother is doing. And I told them what happened. I said, the library is like Las Vegas. What happens here stays here. So if you don't want anyone to see these poems, but you give them to me, I will keep that trust, and I have kept that trust. They are incredible human beings, and what I love about children is that they are fearless when it comes to poetry. They will just put down what's in their heart and their head, and it comes out on paper. And when they think about it too much, that's when they get in trouble. That's when they think, oh, I have to rhyme every line. Oh, I have to do this. Oh, I have to do that. And I say, no. Long Island author Brian Hines, who is an incredibly gifted children's author, his description of good writing is not pretty, but it is accurate. He said, when you write, kids, it's like being sick. Throw it out, throw it up, and clean it up. And that's pretty much what it is. You get it out on paper, and then you start to polish. You start to clean it up.
It's really great advice. It's a weird analogy, but it's completely true.
I don't pull it out very often, but Brian pulls it out every time he does a lecture.
If I'm sitting down and say I'm trying to write a song, and I'm focusing on making sure that I'm doing it right versus what needs to come out, that song is not going to be written. It's just that simple.
I had a student come into my room one day, and she was visibly anxious. And I said, honey, what's the matter? And she says, I don't know anything about Egypt. And I said, why are you concerned? You said we were going to talk about Egypt today. I said, sweetheart, you are not here because I expect you to lecture on Egypt. You are here because this is the place where you find out. The library is not the place where you have to know everything. The library is the place where you come to find out, and it's okay to say, I don't know. And so she relaxed. And I also write,
have a safe place where you're encouraged to say, I don't know. I'd like to learn it.
After 9/11, our then superintendent got up in front of us as a teacher body, for our September. No, he got up in front of us at some point and he said, I don't know. he asked a question of us and then he said, I don't know. It's the first time I ever heard him say that. And he's a very intelligent man, gifted organist, gifted educator, gifted everything. And he said, I don't know. And I wrote him a letter. I am so happy I wrote him because he was able to stand up and say, I don't know. He gave us permission. And I love that. And so it's important to let people know they don't have to know.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Great point. I have one more question for you. If we have people who are just, they're watching and they're saying, you know, she makes it sound like it's something that I can do, but I've never really gotten poetry. I don't know how to do it. It's too hard for me. What suggestion would you make for them to start?
Knowing that people write in diverse ways. Some write by dictating into their phone, some write by typing into their phone, some write in front of a keyboard, and some still use a writer's notebook. And thankfully, they're not all one age. There's like a universal thing that people use writer's notebooks. So I would suggest finding your best comfort level for where you like to write and start to just, everyone, you know, go in there when you're feeling something and write it down and keep a notebook of it. And, you know, try to write something without trying to have it be rhyming poetry, because it just isn't always rhyming. And that's where I would start, was just get your feelings out and find me on Facebook. Find me on Facebook and tell me that you want to write, and I'll find a way to get that to you.
I love that. Linda, thank you so much for sharing this time and for telling us about your story. We're really happy our viewers got a chance to meet you. We ask that everybody please check her out on social media and check out her website. The links are all listed on the screen below. Linda, thank you for all that you're doing. We love that you're inspiring the next generation. You're inspiring us, and thank you for the good talk.
Thank you so much, Robin. It was good to be here and good to have a good talk.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Phantom.
Hi, I'm Aurora.
And we love nothing more than a good bark with
Robin Eve.
and Donnie Vapor. Squirrel!